I'll move that way a bit more. I'm anti-social.
Antisocial.
I've distanced Mr. Jones halfway between the two of us.
For these Peter Brummels, where he was complaining about the sides.
I wouldn't bother.
We got the
What are we going to do about it?
my mistake.
Eh?
My mistake.
I'll leave it down there, but they're still running on. They're not exactly miles apart, are they?
Sorry?
They're not exactly miles apart, are
No, no.
they? Okay, it's 7 o'clock, so we'll start. Thank you, Joe. Apologies for absence. Right. Okay. Declarations of interest, any one of us? No, all blank, fine. Right, minutes of the Parish Council meeting held on the 8th of March. Those say aye, say aye. They say no, say no. Aye. Aye. We're all right, are we?
Well, I was wondering about
Go on, tell me.
842.
842.
Well, it's not. It was yeah.
Eight, oh, 842, sorry, I'm with you. 841. Yeah, 842.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know the answer to it. Well, I wouldn't be asking if I did. We should not have been presented anonymously by the clerk. The applicants for the field,
Right.
when we done that in part 2.
We did. We did. And you checked that out, have you?
There's nothing in the minutes to say. It just says the clerk anonymously proposed the presented.
What I'm trying to get at, Trev, is it your point of view, or have you taken counsel to it? That's the point.
I haven't taken any council's bid, but it's going from past.
Right.
I did raise it.
Right. Well, what do the rest of you think?
What's the issue?
The issue is that Trevor thinks it was wrong when we had it in part 2 to discuss the bids anonymously. Although in the end we reversed that and we actually did discuss it.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah. Right.
Can I just
Well,
mention
go on, Joe.
something?
Yeah,
Because
by all means, have a say.
you did have the bids anonymously at the outset, just to make sure that there was no, bias or anything like that, and you couldn't be accused of bias. But at the point that the unanimous decision was taken, you all knew the names of all the people.
Sorry?
You all knew the names of the bids at the point the decision was taken unanimously.
So we until that stage we didn't have opportunity. The councillors should know who they're talking about and where they live.
Well, I'd already confirmed that they were all Buckland Brewer residents, so that was known, and you knew the purpose of the bids, and you knew the names at the point the decision was verified.
Well, I know it was in the end, but yeah. Just pointing that I don't feel that the minutes are correct. And that
Can
was
we just note it, because there seems to be a bit of confusion. All right, thank you, Trevor.
Will do.
We'll note that from it, Trevor. Okay. Okay. That's the minutes. Right, Steve. Just to introduce Steve Sherry. Has been doing some. He actually lives in the parish. He's down at Snow Hill, and has been working on behalf of the parish to prepare the work for the small industrial estate that the parish council planned in the settlement and in the Torres district plan that was dated 2013. I think the Torres plan was a bit later than that, a lot later, once they got their act together. And it's in the Torres district plan. And Steve's going to give us an update as to where we are in terms of that development. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. The local plan was adopted in 2018.
Thanks for helping me out.
It is being reviewed at the moment. It's supposed to run to
Steve, do you want to speak into the mic?
only
Audience of when we're all
Yes, the local plan was adopted in 2018. It runs to 2031, and the plan is being reviewed at the moment, both for housing and employment land. But in terms of Buckland Brewer, I don't expect anything to change. You've got an allocated site, and that will change. In terms of the work I've done so far, the first step was to have an electronic site survey done, which was completed last summer. From there, we had a speed survey done to assess in and outgoing speeds, and from that would dictate the best place for the entrance into the new site. And after a couple of drafts, that has been agreed with Devon County Council. I have got a couple of drafts which I've printed off. I'm happy to share them.
Thank you very much.
Steve.
Pass it around.
I come round it.
As you can see, it involves realigning the hedge bank, particularly on the village side. That's not unusual these days. The way they tend to do it is excavate behind the hedge, and a big machine just drags the whole hedge backwards, so you create the visibility. Devon County Council wanted a footpath link into the village, which is shown across the lower part of the field. And at the moment I've shown 3 industrial units, although that can change. The next steps will be to do an ecological survey, looking particularly for dormice, protected species. They can be relocated if you find any, but you've got to do the proper surveys, and that can't be done until May. As part of that exercise, I'd also do percolation tests to look at what the ground's like for disposal of groundwater, surface water runoff from the road and the roofs. But there is a possible connection into the foul sewer, so it's only surface water as a potential issue. So trying to keep everything on site. All the visibility displays are on land within the parish's control or on the highway, so there's no third-party land required. So once we've looked at the percolation, then they confirm upon the size of the units, and at that stage we can decide, advise the options of either an outline application or a full application. An outline is valid for 3 years, and within that time you've got to submit your reserve matters, which we deal with the details of the buildings, and then you get a further 2 years to implement the planning permission. relatively easy to implement. The planning permission by building part of the access road or some engineering works just to keep it alive. So the timetable of building it up will unfold as the parish maybe does research on what the demand is likely to be and how they want to progress it. So that's where we've got to. May I'll have ecologists in there and arrange percolation tests. So that's the next step.
What sort of timeline do you see in terms of going for outline planning permission?
I'll get the reports back at the end of May, so I should be able to put an application in end of June, early July. And I wouldn't expect it to be a particularly controversial development, so it would normally be dealt with as a delegated matter. So it should be relatively quick. If you had somebody who was keen to crack on, then we could go straight for a full application and I could push it along a bit quicker, so see how things evolve.
For those who hear, the parish council, this parish council made a decision in terms of talking to various parties that we own the land and we would sell the land, we'll sell the land to somebody, so the actual building of the industrial units would not be our responsibility. It would be we would supply the land, and that would be, or sell the land, and that would be where we would pass it on to the developer, which is quite normal practice. And if anybody wants any more details about it, it's all in here. It's all on the parish website, been on the parish website for years, the reason and rationale for it. And interestingly enough, I was approached last week, somebody wanted to actually occupy one with a business in the village, which was interesting, very pleasing. So people know about it, and people who are running businesses are very keen in terms of relocating or locating to those units. Any questions from the council?
So,
Don't think so.
I suppose there's obviously the cost of your work that you're doing for us, Steve. So
That's what we're paying for.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're paying for all that. Would that include the kind of putting in for outline planning
Yeah.
permission?
Yes.
We would have to
Yeah.
pay for that as well.
Yeah.
As a parish council, your application fee is 50% of the normal going rate, so you
Yeah.
have
We don't have, you only have to pay half, you see, because
Well,
we're parish
there you
council.
go. A bargain.
Some of those people out there might not like that. Right, this side, any comments?
Doesn't it rather set a precedent though for parish council?
No.
No, we're just saying, does it set a precedent? We've always used the excuse that the land has to be used for agricultural use.
Well, it's going to be used for employment. I think that's the key. That's the key.
But it does set a precedent going forward with other land.
Well,
I'm just asking the question.
well, we discussed this fully when we thought about doing it, and also it would accrue some income for some projects within the village, which is quite important as well.
We have no control over it once it's sold, though, will we?
No,
What goes in there?
we have no control over anything. I mean, as you know, the parish council has no power whatsoever. It's just has influence.
Through Chair, did we actually, we may not have got any deeds for this when it was gifted, purchased,
Yeah.
whatever.
Pat at the time, I know, wrote to the Clinton Estates on several occasions and told them what we were doing, and they weren't interested.
They weren't interested.
No.
Thank you.
No. We wanted to make sure we covered our backs. Okay. Well, you could ask some questions if you like.
So who's your agency today?
Parish Council.
Parish council.
Yeah.
Parish council.
Yeah.
You mentioned the various projects that this could pay for in the village. What various projects are those?
Well, I know what I would do with it if it was me. Is the village all screaming out to add another room? In terms of making the village hall more viable in terms of a community centre. But that's just me. But that's one project I can think of straight away.
Is that just the only project?
Well, there are others. I'm sure there are others. You can break it up and use it for all sorts of things. And we've got to think of the parish as well.
it'll be a new parish council decision where I'm quite sure it'll be thrown up to the parishioners for input or what happens to them, won't it?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I'd be up to the parish council.
It's not going to be a ring-fenced parish council decision.
No. It'd be a community
Thrown
decision.
open to
Yeah.
parishioners
Yeah.
of what they deem would be interested in as a majority decision.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. Oh, Steve, I was going to ask you one other question. You talked about land supply for housing. I understand that Torridge are going to try and make another bid at the end of this month to try and get within the 5-year land supply arrangement. I asked today if they were a bit nervous about whether they'd make it or not.
Well, my personal view is they haven't got a cat's chance
Right.
of
Okay.
doing that.
No.
They're
Please.
they're supposed to deliver
Right.
1,200 houses a year across North Devon
Right.
and Torridge.
This brings me on to a post on the community website. Somebody put something up which was just totally untrue. This parish council has no powers in terms of planning applications whatsoever. Neither does Torridge. Torridge District Council, because of what Steve and I just said, don't have any powers. The power lies solely with the government inspectorate. The reason Southwood Meadow was built, because the government, the Torridge District Council, couldn't really afford to take the contract developer on and go to court. They lost £1 million 2 or 3 years ago over Holmesworthy Market, so they burnt their fingers there. So basically, if the parish council wanted to sell the Black Horse Field for building, we're not going to, and I'm sure the next parish council won't either, and I hope they won't, then you can build a house anywhere in Torridge. Build a house anywhere. And that's how ridiculous planning has become in Torridge at the moment.
That's how, what's it called, Foxglove
Yeah, Southwood Meadow, I call it.
our rules. That was not in our district plan. We spend hours to do the plan,
Consultation.
and it was outside the plan. And see what you got?
Well, the perverse thing is that the 5-year housing supply was tested at public inquiry Burwood in Torrington, and the developer won his case that Torridge didn't have a 5-year housing supply. But that planning permission has since lapsed at Burwood's.
Well, I think at the moment with interest rates at 4.5%, I think a lot of them start lapsing. Steve, thank you very much indeed for giving us your time. Yeah, go on.
Just one other question. Assuming this planning permission is granted and the land is sold to a developer, is it then set in stone to have industrial units, or could the developer sit on it for years and then reapply for planning permission for houses, and then the parish council lost control then because the land has already been sold?
You could deal with that in a covenant in your sale. You could restrict it just to industrial employment, B1, B2 and Class E uses.
Okay.
Or you could have an overage provision if they did switch to residential where you got an uplift in the value. But you can deal with that through the legal process.
All right, happy with that?
Yeah, that's good.
Good, well done. Okay. Thanks very much, Steve. Thanks for coming up and furnishing with your information. Right. Okay. Public participation. Anybody?
I was hoping that Pension might be here tonight.
He's here, it's at the back.
Sorry, I squeezed in late, but I want to be in. I'll go to the front now.
He's come canvassing. Take this posh chest.
Yeah, no, Steve was sitting there, what's all? Sorry, yes.
Good evening. In the Torridge Prior, the County Councillor seemed to imply that Devon County Council were catching up on pothole works. I hope so. I didn't know whether you had a view on that, whether he was
say we haven't. Can I say, this is the gentleman, not a kick. The gentleman who kick is your county councillor. Because the roads belong to the county council, don't belong to us. And they don't belong to him. No.
My view, also just to answer the question, is there is a committee called AFOP. It's a joint committee between parish, district and county, highways and traffic operations. And what, I can't remember the OC is, that should be, I should have looked it up, sorry. It's called AFOP, and I will forward that question to the chair of the AFOP committee.
Just to say, we were all going off to one, weren't we, Trevor? And they phoned us, say we were the only parish council interested in going. So it's called off. So we do try.
Well, there'll be a new council and then May the 5th.
Yeah.
And there'll be a new committee, so they'll be all keen to prove their worth.
Yeah.
Because the old councillors who's not standing aren't doing very much at the moment, so you won't see a lot from the older ones. And hopefully you ask the question after May the 4th and you'll get better answers. But in Devon County it will stand until 2021.
Phil, I'm really impressed you classify yourself as a young councillor.
Well, there you are, that's the way it is. If you're under 75, you're young these days.
When I went to Cozy before I came here, I went to the Langford Parish Council meetings, and the county councillor was there one night, and he said, this came up obviously, and he said, the reason you don't get much done is because you don't moan enough. He said, parishes that moan a lot, they get more done.
Well,
I'm going to tell you what he told me.
well, all I can tell you is people know my politics. We've had two county councillors. The previous one was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He'd come to nearly every other meeting. He'd have a report. He was superb county councillor. Unfortunately, the one we've got now has been seriously ill with sepsis twice. And we've only seen him once since the county council elections. I'm going to try and get hold of Joe. We're trying to get him to come to the meeting, aren't we?
I have got a quick update from him. Do you want to cover that now?
Yeah, if you like, yeah. You can all come and kick it.
Right. Councillor Morris, he did send us apologies, but one of the things he mentioned, there's a couple of bullet points he's put together. Devon County Council, together with the UK Government, are spending £60 million on road and pothole repairs in the next 12 months. Teams are already making a start in our area and will be in the Buckland and Bideford area in the next few weeks. The leader of council, John Hart, has been re-elected for another 12 months, and James Morris remains chairman of Pensions and Investment. He also says in the last 30 days he's had 3 communications from our parish on issues such as hospital services, county council farms and roads. And this year he has £8,000 to spend in the Holsworthy rural patch. End of message.
You're going to buy your new web page for that. I've asked him once. How many more times? I'll give him a ring anyway and chase him for the annual meeting. Okay.
May I just take up what
Yeah.
the gentleman said?
Yeah.
I agree with him entirely, and I had it from the local highways guy that I dealt with, and he said the more people that chase us, the more people that report potholes and substandard works, the better. Even if they're reporting the same ones over and over again, they are the ones that will come to the top of the pile quickest.
There's nothing to stop anybody here reporting.
I was going to say,
It's on the county council website.
I appreciate that. What I'm actually saying is, could you please report as a parish councillor and a request for a dragon patch at the Ketty, a pretty pointer?
We can, I can, through the chair, I can tell you that as a parish council, we complain a lot about a lot of things and about potholes. And individually we do.
Thank you.
Because there's certain sections of road was needed doing for a long time. And I can assure you that they have been complaining about lots of them than we do. We do respond to parishioners' requests to complain and to ask questions about our county councillors and the parish in there. We have done our best and will.
Thank you.
And then don't complain to us when they close the road.
yeah, I believe the dragon patcher has been in the parish,
That's it.
because I saw or heard somebody said they saw a lot of flashing lights and the road was closed. That at Scratchy Face, but half of you don't know where that is. Anyway, that's beside the point. The next day, they'd done one coat, and they come back the next day to put another layer over the top. And that there was a stretch done. They'd done one side of the road. The other side was just as bad as what they'd done, really. So it was even the patcher in the patch on the job.
No.
It's waste of money.
Well, it's better than the damp and dash policy.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean they don't know how to fill the pot or what to do.
Anyway, thank you for what you do. Please continue to do
No,
it.
no, that's right, we will do. Anyway, come to the annual meeting, he's coming to the annual meeting. Well, he assured me he was, I will give him another ring. Okay. Any other questions?
Brendan's got it up there, let's think of it.
Well, it's item 855, when we get to discuss it, we'd like to know the reasons why it is on there.
Sorry, what's that? Missed that.
855,
Yes.
retention of period for online meeting footage.
So when we get to discuss it, I'd like to know the reasons why.
No, when we get to discuss it, if you want to make a point, I'll allow you to do so, don't worry. That's no problem. Brenda? Yeah.
That was quite reassuring actually, because there are several other people who don't know where the gate is either. There was a diagram shown, but unfortunately the diagram was only shown on, and when we were on the screen, on Zoom then, we couldn't actually see it. It was facing the other way. So
Right.
some of us are still in the dark as to where the gate is going. I was wondering if the council would be able to
Well, my vice chairman can answer that because he actually put the thing in.
It's just a replacement of the old one.
Pardon?
It's just replaced the old one. It's in the same place.
But you were talking about the oh, sorry.
It's on the other side of it. It's on the other side of it.
Well, but it's in the, it's 10 feet from the
You were
other.
talking about a new permissive.
We haven't done that, that hasn't been decided yet, but it was an option.
Even if it isn't decided, some of us don't know where it is because we couldn't follow it on Zoom and haven't been able to follow it in minutes.
Right.
But anyway, something for us to look at. The other thing I wanted to say is, because the Buckland Brewer Parish Council, please advise folk any works that is done that the Torridge or the Devon County Council would normally do, would they please undertake, sorry, when they undertake these works, is kind of like volunteers and that, would they do it in the appropriate manner that the councils would do it? Example is that any muck that's cleared off of the road does not go on private property. It goes on the verges. And I make this point because a Devon County Council employee lectured me publicly one day about that. I cannot put any wastage from the road on private property. It has to go on verges. And I ask that anybody who's doing volunteer work, do it by all means, but do it with the appropriation that the councils would do it. And just quickly, thirdly, it occurred to me not very many minutes ago that in actual fact we're losing a few councillors, but not only are we losing councillors, we're losing a wealth of knowledge and experience. And I, for one, and I know several other parishioners appreciate all that you've done and all the time you've given us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Brenda. That's very kind of you. I'm sure those around the area who are moving on to greener pastures would appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Clerk's report. Oh, sorry. Beg your pardon.
Last time I was here, I asked about the flashing sign at the road. I assume nothing's been done about it.
Oh, it has. Go on, tell him.
I have a
At last.
battery. I have a battery. It needs charging and it will be installed, but we cannot do it while it's so windy because that's what damaged it last time.
Yeah, we've got the battery.
So we've got the
And
battery.
We'll
So
turn it around as well.
This is the first time for 3 months.
Yeah, I know.
it's taken forever to get the battery.
We'll turn it around.
And now
couple of trees in the corner of the sports field have died. Is there any plans to replace them?
Yes, you mean the field?
Yeah,
I've got trees to replace them. We're going to have a I mean, that's something for the other committee, but we're going to have a maintenance, couple of maintenance days up there when the weather's better, and we'll replace them then.
Thank you.
That playing field is owned by it's under trust, and it's nothing to do with the parish council. You realise that? Yeah.
I said our only plans. I didn't say it was Parish Council.
Although we do support the committee that actually runs it with a lot of money anyway, so it's horses for courses. Okay. Everybody all right?
Sorry, can I just ask?
No, go on.
What trees you talking about?
You know, in the corner of the playing field behind my house,
Yeah.
the John and your land over there, in the corner where you have access,
Yeah.
there's a group of trees.
Yeah.
A few of those have died, or look like they're dying, but we've got replacements, just to dig them up, put new ones in. Won't affect your access at all.
Right. Okay, Joe.
Right, well, you'd know quite a bit of this anyway. So for the benefit of others, we have installed a padlock on the lights on the ambulance landing site. We needed to do that because we think the local children have discovered how to have floodlit football. So we kept getting calls out at 9:30 at night saying, do you know the lights are on? Thanks very much. Right, so that is now installed, and the landing team are aware of that and have got the combination for that, so that's fine. There's an invitation to the North Devon Records Office for supporters. It's an event next week. I will need names tonight if anybody is interested in going from the Parish Council. With regards to roads and potholes, there is a massive project going on right up until autumn 2023. So highways are actually in contact, and they do send through details of resurfacing works and what have you. So we are having some works done on Orley Hill this week, but obviously it's a much bigger enterprise than that. I do appreciate it's not just Orley Hill, but it is ongoing, and I'm sure they'll be coming backwards and forwards over the next few months. What else is there? I've escalated some of the things that have been mentioned to me with regards to HGVs. I've had quite a lot of photos in recent days, so I have escalated that to Alison Holmes. I think that one of the issues, which is now perhaps coming back in a slightly different form, is that rather than queuing to get onto the site along Orley Close, they're now queuing elsewhere in the parish and actually stopping on the roads a little bit further out and then sort of radioing in. So I don't know what the answer is. I mean, obviously they're trying to do what they can to stagger traffic, and lorries are trying to pull in somewhere unobtrusively, but I do appreciate with our narrow roads it is quite tricky, but it has all been escalated. And I think that's it. Yeah, everything else I've communicated already anyway.
With the records office, Joe, I normally go, but I can't go that day. I've got another meeting, so if anybody else wants to go and see. I have a guided tour of the records office, which look after all our records, and a lot of records from other organisations and things in the parish as well. So it's well worth going in and having a look. You get a cup of tea, a slice of cake.
Are the mugs you're going to mention in the King Charles bit, are you? Where are the mugs? Council Hicks agreed 250 grand, what about that?
Oh, well, because of timing with the election and availability of monies, the £250 grant is not coming in. So at the moment, the Parish Council has paid for all the mugs. There is an opportunity to recover some funds with mug sales, depending on how many surplus we've got after all the children have had their mugs.
Okay.
But, you know, there will be some back, certainly.
So you want us to fill in that 250 quid?
Well, it won't be the whole amount. In fact, you might not even need to
You want
cover
to wait and
that.
see, do you?
Well, I won't know how many we need for children for another few weeks. Probably be about a week before.
Haven't got the invoice outstanding with the company that supplied them up?
No, it's already been paid.
Been paid for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Just a moment, can I just ask?
Yeah.
And also an observation. With lorries queuing up for the building sites and stuff over here, in the southeastern area, or any big sites, Exeter or whatever, all these sites have to have car parking on their site as they're developing it. They're also on planning condition. They have to have a power washing site area so that all lorries are totally cleansed coming off site. Not one of these sites have done that. When Newbrook was developed, I don't think there was hardly any queuing. That site they had car parking and everything else on it. So it is just abdication of duty by the developers who are doing it, that they're putting the parishioners in the parish under duress of what is happening. By law, they should not be doing it. Why don't your officers do something about it, or councillors do something about it, as they do in big areas like Plymouth, Exeter, and especially over the southern area, where I read it is in law, and every planning application that is dealt with, they have to specifically show the site for washing off these vehicles and for parking these vehicles. Why is it not happening in your town?
Right. Your chair contacted me, I think it was about 6 weeks ago, Chair, when you rang me up, and I responded immediately and looked up the conditions that were on the applications here in Southwood. That there is, I think, is condition 4 of the application of this top one. There is a condition that every lorry should be washed off and cleaned and tidied before it moves on. The problem it has been, and I think it was Tuesday, there was a lot of lorries moving up and down through the village on Tuesday. I had a couple of calls come in when the lorries were moving around. I've been down through the village tonight, and the village is actually looking quite clean as I've gone down, but we've had a lot of rain today, and a lot of mud may have disappeared with the rain that we've had. But there is an enforcement condition there, and they should be reminded.
Have you inspected the site before washing area off on a stoned area, not a muddy area?
I haven't inspected the site. I'm not an enforcement officer. I have mentioned it to all officers.
The enforcement officers done it?
I don't know yet I don't know the dates and times they have been out, but I have asked them to listen to concerns raised by any development of Buckland Brewer, because there's been other developments that have caused problems where tradesmen have parked in front of other garages, even blocked in landowners, not just on this site. There's been other developers in Buckland that have caused problems as well. So it's not just been the Allison Homes ones, it's been other developers in Buckland.
I know it's a complete unbelievable at the moment. That just happened to be a lot of development sites going on at the same time. But looking at what is done elsewhere in the county, elsewhere in the country, it's just that I think that nothing taken in mind, but
No, they totally disregard everything. I was watching them on Tuesday, and I saw, well, I can let you have some photographs in a minute, because I took several, or my wife took several photographs, and every lorry that come out of that site never stopped and cleaned off. And that was all Coles plant.
Then send them to the planning enforcement directly, and I'll take a copy again as well. And
what we need is a visit from the planning enforcement officer, to be honest with you.
You know, they
it's not the haulers, it's the site people got to deal with it. It's not the haulers.
Well, yeah, but
you mentioned Coles plant, but it's not Coles plant. It's the site people got to deal with it. You can't blame Coles plant.
you you sue both people in this
No,
situation.
sorry, no,
The
no,
lorry has a
It's the
responsibility.
developer, it's the site area is what I do. That's the regulations and the service.
If the lorry drives on the road in a muddy state, it's the responsibility of the lorry operator to drive on the public highway in a proper manner.
That's in agriculture as well.
That's an agriculture as well. There is highways, there is police, and there is district council should be involved in this matter as a joint operation between the three of them. And from district council point of view, where it's planning enforcement, there is a condition on the applications that are there. I have asked that somebody check what's going on. I was out here on Tuesday, and what's the bottom of Hill Park, that new development they're just finishing off? There was a vehicle out there cleaning the road on, I think it was Tuesday afternoon when I was there, and looked at it. So there was somebody down there cleaning the road. The difficulty in the dry time is that they don't wash it off, it just gets slippery.
Polished.
It's polished. If you want to go for skating rink, you can make a skating rink out of it. I do accept that there is, has been difficulty, because when I look at the row of terraces that on the Goldwood roadside as I come through Buckland, the mud on those walls, because the doors are right on the public highway. And yeah, I do accept them, and I pass those situations to our enforcement officers.
We got
I think you'd be grateful if you passed it again to the enforcement officer. Kick his backside, get him up here and have a look.
We've actually got a meeting with Alison Holmes, haven't we, on the 20th?
Yeah, 20th.
Again.
It's a site, it's a developer, it's a site organisation. I'm not going to all it. It's a site organisation.
Right, okay. We think we've made our point, George.
Do you know that they've actually got the power washing facilities in place?
I
You
believe
can't blame the haulers
No.
if it's not there.
You can't blame the others.
If it's not there.
there is 3 different organisations involved in this situation. There is from the public bodies, okay? There is police, because they make sure that
I quite agree. I'll just say, in as homes, nobody actually knows that there is a washing facility there to wash the lorries off. Because you said earlier that it's the lorries, they're at fault as well as the Alison homes.
No.
But it can't be at
No.
fault if there's no facility there.
It is developers, not the haulers.
But Trevor, did you see it?
We do
You
need,
said you saw
we did ask
the
them,
lorries
Phil, we
by
did
the...
ask.
Well, there is a...
Hang on, Trevor. We did ask that the planning inspector actually come up and have a look. I mean, I think that's really important because, Alison Holmes is not. There are in other parts of the district, as you know, in other parts of the county, and there's not many friends of Alison Holmes in those parts of the county either. So, I think that's something that is really crucial in actually getting the planning enforcement officer up, because there are blatant rules, and any individual, by the way, could go to the police and do it under the 1980 road traffic act. There's nothing stopping.
Okay. Well, I can only answer from Taurus, to answer your question directly. I don't know what is left on the site because I have no right to visit the site. I'm a district councillor. I know what was in the planning conditions when the planning conditions were passed, and there was requirements to make sure that they came out and came on the highway in a proper mode of the situation. There is also a responsibility, I believe, from highways and from police. And I would point that out as district councillor, responsibility of other organisations, because they have a responsibility to make sure the road is safe for other users. And I think there is a responsibility on hauliers in the situation as well, because they shouldn't be driving on the road where they're in an unsafe condition. So I think there is responsibility on two other sides apart from Torridge. But I will take your concerns tonight back again to Torridge. Councillor Mills, grateful for your pictures last time, and grateful for the further evidence because it builds the picture.
Go on.
That's all right. No, I was nodding to Phil there.
All right.
I think.
Yeah, go on.
I want to admit it from my point of view that I am not blaming the hauliers at all. It is the site management and the site development that's got to deal with it. So I don't see that you can blame the hauliers.
I'm not blaming the
I want to
hauliers.
admit it, Clark, that I'm saying is not the hauliers.
Well, I would like, and then as well, then in response to Councillor Hayward's point of view that I'm not blaming the hauliers, but I'm and it's not solely with porridge as Councillor Hayward is trying to make out.
Right.
So I disagree strongly with what Councillor
Right,
Hayward has
okay.
said.
I'm sorry, Chair, I think what I think.
No, allow that minute.
I think we'll stop there, George.
Sorry, I would like to know then, how do we overcome, in all the rest of the parishes, how do we overcome and deal with the situation then, if you were saying that it's not the responsibility of the council, we pass the planning commission to implement it.
Shall we have a wander down there, George, and have a
Sorry?
look? Shall we have a wander down and have a look? Because they said they were happy for us to go on site and have a look round. But they gave a commitment when we had the meeting here that they would have a check.
But what I was asking Trevor was that Trevor said you watched them, they didn't use it.
No, they stop and go round and flip the
So is it
stones
there?
off the tailboard, jump back in and drive off.
Is it there?
They've got a watch, they're just not using it.
You know, yes, there is
That's what I'm trying
what
to
do you
get
call it, a tank there and a pressure washing kit inside the gate, and they drive straight past
It's
it.
the responsibility of the site planner to do that. Is that
all we
paying
can-
flu? Is
as
that
I said-
paying
as I said,
flu?
hang on.
I have a responsibility to make sure that lorries wash themselves off, which I do.
As I said earlier, we don't have much power, but what we can do is ask Torridge again, and Phil's going to take it back, and ask their planning enforcement officer to go up there and have a look, because clearly people feel very strongly that they're actually breaking planning regulations. Right, there we go. We've got an action plan.
I will go back again to Torridge
Right.
and ask that they inspect this out. And this was really good that we record this tonight, because Alison Holmes had just had another whack of funds approved at Winkley. And we know that Winkley through the same situation as you've been through in this situation up here. So it's a good learning process for another village from the point of view of what's happening. So I am regretful of what's happened of the situation. I've visited several times up and down the village there, and I've been up and down the road tonight before I came to the meeting.
Okay. All right.
It's all in Torridge, isn't there? There's another lot at Bradworthy from Alison Holmes as well, so they got more to come.
Yeah.
Well, we know about it. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Well, you'll have your... Sorry, go on. Go on, Brett.
Walking on the pavements and all this, you know, sometimes they've got a whole pavement, can't get past. When I spoke to the site manager about it, he says he's got no control over the contractors at all. This is his attitude, and anything that gets damaged, we'll mend. And that seems to be the ethos of Alison Holmes.
Okay.
That's the way of preventing it. But we shouldn't have to walk out on the road in the mud, because they backed up and, you know, it's all on the pavements. Sometimes we go sides of the pavements.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We've got an action, please. Better move on. Correspondence we've dealt with. Joe? Updates. Right. Members' reports. George?
It was something completely on the end.
We want to start this end. David, start. Go on, George. We'll give you time. Start this end then, David. Go on.
See if I can remember mine.
There.
There hasn't been any recent adult association or local council meetings because it's come in, because of the forthcoming elections. But there was a few weeks ago. What they do tend to do, the county committee, kind of, I try to get together groups to kind of look at specific issues. So there has been. They have looked at kind of speed limits on rural roads, narrow roads, and the new one about buses and about the whole bus situation throughout the county. I did go to that first one, but it was just the initial meeting, and there will be other meetings in the future.
I mean, our biggest fear about the buses is the government have agreed to subsidise the bus companies until the end of June. And nobody knows what's going to happen.
No.
I'm a clue.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope. Don't think so.
Barbara?
Yes, this is my last time, so I was saying my bit. The one big regret I have of all the time I've sat on the parish council is that I wasn't able to move forward a flashing speed sign for the bottom of the village, below the school. The school is growing, it's situated on a crossroads. Traffic comes quickly up Glen Road these days, and looking to the future, more and more silent electric cars, which children dashing out from school might not hear. Elderly people mightn't hear them. And I think we need to be thinking about this. I supported at the top of the village, but quite honestly, I always felt that the one at the bottom of the village was more important. I know they're very expensive, but we have the money, thanks to the good housekeeping over the past few years by the existing council. And I would like to ask existing councillors and you new councillors coming in, think about this one, please, because I think it's an accident waiting to happen. People just don't respect an ordinary sign, but I think a flashing sign makes them stop and think. That is one of my big moan. The second is just a thought. It's communication. I know I'm a bit behind the times, but please don't put all your eggs into one basket of electric devices. This is a rural community still, just. Not everyone is an electro whiz-kid. So please support the village scene. Its outreach has always been good, and lots of people, me included, rely on it. So you say it makes mistakes. So do daily newspapers. And frequently, website crashes when you need it most. This is a little village thing that really needs supporting and keeping going. It's not behind the times, it's a sign of how things are. Last thing is meetings. We've embraced being filmed at our meetings, and we sit in a straight line like a TV panel for the sake of the camera. We always did meet in a horseshoe, and I expect you meet in a horseshoe at District Council, do you?
No, we've just changed a lot of practice since COVID. 2 metres distancing, so we can't hear each other any longer.
So that's why no decisions again.
My point exactly. And when you're sitting in a straight line, we are a little bit curved tonight, and somebody puts their hand up like this while they're talking, I haven't got the funniest idea what somebody's saying down that end. And if we were slightly curved so that we could see each other, we as councillors, which is the first thing, can understand what the other one's saying. So please, I know you've got to be a slave to that one, but for the sake of your councillors, please curve the seats around a little bit.
You can throw in a curved ball and Barbara.
I'm throwing a curved ball.
But if we speak into the microphone, it comes out through the speakers. And the hearing aid loop as well.
Yeah, well, I need that one.
All right, is that it? Thank you, Barbara.
Just to finish.
After 12 years service.
Just to finish.
Go on. Go on.
I'd like to wish returning councillors and new councillors all the best for the future.
Well done.
I think you've got a very challenging time ahead of you. That's me.
Thank you, Barbara, and thank you for your 12 years service. Thank you very much. Only one? There's one parish? Villages.
Only the one village.
Oh, you want to know the circulation? It's a private run thing, I don't know. Ask the publisher, she'll tell you.
We are printing about 250, but about, I would say 230 plus go out to already.
Monthly.
Monthly, so that's, right, 900 people in the parish, a lot of them are children, so 700 electors. Yeah, you're getting through the most, Brendan.
Sorry?
I said 900 in the parish, 700 electors. You're getting through the most of them because, you know, two people read the village scene in one house, sometimes three, sometimes one. Yeah, I suspect most people get it.
The biggest strike at the moment is people are saying, why have we stopped putting in the applications for planning?
Why?
Have
Oh,
we
why?
stopped putting in the
Why? Oh, in the
applications
reports.
for planning?
Yeah,
And
perhaps the clerk can take that on board.
that's one.
Right.
Well, they're all on the minutes. Everything's on the minutes of the meetings. They're all there publicly.
But that's just back in what Barbara just said. You know, there are people that can't go out and walk and see the minutes on the notice board. They don't have a website. They don't have a mobile phone, some of them.
Well, they won't be able to read any of the documents then either, will they? They won't be able to read, they won't be able to view the planning documents for any of the details. Because it's only got very high level information on it.
Ah, yeah, that's the point. They know the phone number to Torridge District Council. They can say, can you tell me more about this application for the industrial site or, you know, something else.
Right, I think point taken.
Magazine.
Yeah, need a bigger magazine, yeah. Okay. Fine. Thank you very much indeed. Right, Trevor.
Glenbridge,
Oh, yeah, falling apart.
Is it still there?
Yeah, Jess.
well, just, you've had another shunt, looks like it. It's worse than it was. Highways, yeah. Other than that, nothing to report. Well, I could, but most of it been covered.
Okay. I've only got one. I've partly mentioned it before. I did have a complaint from a parishioner about a post on the community website regarding what the parish does and doesn't do, which is complete nonsense. I think the person's standing for the parish council, so I think
I've
they're going
already mentioned that.
yeah. So that was the only thing I wanted to mention. Right. Hope they read their rules and regs before they come
I'm
on.
surprised you're worried about it.
No, no.
As it's on Facebook, you don't usually care.
No, I do. I don't like people to. Well, the person was very angry to complain to me. He said it's a lie. It's a lie. He said. A lie. Right. Go on.
Nothing too much. I don't know if anyone saw on the website about the sheep that got into Orley Hill recently on George's flock gate. It was either left open or blew open. Been and looked at it together. I've been in touch with the council and they're putting a new stock gate. So you're going to have an all singing, dancing, self-closing gate replacing it. And that is at the top of Orley Hill. So yeah, it's the last footpath as you leave the village.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's sorted. Happy with that?
Thank you.
Yeah. Any news on the water at the allotments?
Trevor.
When the sun shines for 2 or 3 days in a row,
Apart from next Wednesday, over it's
Uh,
sun's out.
I noticed from this plan, with this footpath, that's actually going to be. Will that be part of the highways? That footpath? Would it be adopted by?
No, it'll be adopted by us, I suspect.
The old water pipe will be under that. won't it?
Yeah.
That was it. I was going to mention the beacon. Has that any news on getting around that? No.
No, I'm still on it.
Right.
I haven't made contact yet.
Okay.
Any way you can have a word, Trev?
sorry?
Is there any way you can have a word?
The beacon.
The beacon. It's Andrew's got it in his field.
Right.
We just want to get it up here. We want to make use of it up there through the summer.
Right.
It just needs collecting or dropping off, one or other.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
I will talk to him.
Okay. Fritz?
Yeah, for the first time in ages, I was approached by a parishioner, and I thought, oh dear, this is bad news. But, actually, they came to thank me, or asked me to thank the council for the defibrillator that is up and running at Thornhill Head, and the notice board for the moor, Thornhill Head Moor notice board.
Looks posh, doesn't it?
And they were, and so am I, but they were very pleased with it and asked me to thank you.
Oh, lovely. Oh, well.
And that was the height of my last month.
George?
Yeah, got brain working now.
Right, go on.
The being soap warden, I asked a question, do we want some 25k bags? Whoever's on, whoever gets elected on, whatever, somebody will be looking at it, whatever. You will, as a parish council, I would suggest to do parish council make a decision is, and where are you going to show,
Not in Joe's garage, she'll say.
sorry?
Not in Joe's garage.
So you can have 25k bags, but I shall be ordering the 5 ton to get it up again to 5 ton and 1 ton bags for next year. We used more this year than we had done for the last 3 or 4 years. Saved money the last 3 or 4 years, but I didn't but I tried to save one trip I saved money on this year. But anyway, so the 25k bags decision will be made where they store them and how, and you want some, which comes out of the 5 ton that I'm going to apply for. Apologies for my behalf, but not quite diligent enough. I see on the minutes of last month that I was to get out of our electrician Dick Gilbert to give an appraisal for when the implementation of the emergency plan, which will be done on the new parish council, or where and what. And next week he's going to contact you, David, to be coming and assess what is required of us at this point.
Yeah.
And one thing I would just like to, I don't know what you can do about it. Down at the school there, when we did the village hall and the car park there, it was envisaged that all teaching staff would park in that car park. And there's a lot of lorries, and also when I get busy with heavy straw and whatever, if there's car parks to park at the school, around the school, implementing on, and also encroaching on the yellow zigzags, and there's car parks which are entitled to the other side. You cannot get around that corner with an articulated vehicle or an 8-wheeler or a tractor on a large trailer at peak times without knocking on somebody's door. I don't know what you can do about it. Whether the parish council would decide here or the next one to ask the school again, to ask them to park in the school, in the village, old car park section, to get in there. There's reason why they didn't, but it is very difficult sometimes for vehicles turning around there, going from up from Charlie down to Glenville.
I think, George, that sometimes they park on the outside there because they bring in stuff into school and they want to dray it away from the car park in through the back entrance. But I can mention.
Then they can move them again, David.
Yeah. Granted. Well, we got governance meeting soon, so I'll mention that again.
Just impossible. It is like the peculating circumstance.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Oh.
Go on, do you want one more?
One more, yes. I've served on the shop committee, which will be my last meeting next week, and they wanted a sign put on our big notice board out by the telephone box. And the parish council very kindly agreed to pay for this, and we were going to ask Phil Slocum to do it, and
very
there it is.
Good on Phil.
He gave it to me yesterday. So that it is oak, so it should last for quite a while. And there is the bill.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Thank you, Barbara. As always, Phil turns in some nice work. He's responsible for the those that have come into the village more later than others. He's responsible for the parish plan. It's on the other side of the notice board. Very talented man. Right. Decision to be taken regarding the retention of period for online meeting footage. Right, who wants to start this off then? I don't see why we need to keep it myself, but there we go.
Well, I can take it off, but if you want me to, that is how long you keep them on there is up to the council.
There must be a rule or regulation that states how long we must keep them. If not, then yeah, just pick a time.
What are the charges here? What are the charges in your retention and your how you Zoom and whatever? Is it there forever and a day?
Well, I assume when you go on YouTube, you can plug in whatever committee you like. And,
How long did you?
I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer.
Because that's where it's kept. It's kept on YouTube.
Because that's this question here.
It's on the cloud somewhere.
Yeah, the question is regarding the retention period, I think. That's what we were
Yeah.
trying to do, wasn't it?
Yeah. Why
What do you think?
Why would you want to delete it? What is the reason to delete
Well, why do you want to keep it?
for past records?
Well, you've got some minutes.
Yes, which aren't always as comprehensive as actually sitting there watching that.
I mean, I'm not in favour of streaming this because I think the streaming is so poor. You know that you really, if you're going to do it, you've got to do it properly.
Well, it sometimes helps if people speak into the microphone.
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you something, it's quite interesting that I found out this week. You can get subtitles from it. There's a little box at the top right hand where you click it and the subtitles of what people are saying come up.
Not an Estonian accent.
I mean, these good folk here have come out tonight to come to the parish council meeting, and I applaud them for that, and I see no reason why people, if they want to come to parish council meeting, come. Because I think that, you know, I get lots of complaints about people who've tried to watch it, and it's going to cost us to upgrade it far too much money, as I can see, for the parish council. But this is my last meeting. That's my view. That's how the future parish council will have to deal with it.
Well, I wouldn't suggest upgrading it.
No,
But
but I think it's important to keep it for a certain...
Surely we're still restricted by that we aren't supposed to
How long
subsidise
do you keep it for? 3
3
months?
months.
religious
3 months.
organisations.
3 months?
Surely we're still restricted by the fact that we're not supposed to support.
I missed that, Barbara, sorry.
I thought we were restricted, that we weren't supposed to support religious organisations. We've never given money to the chapel
No, we
or
can't.
to the
That's
church
not- that's
because
not
we've
what we
always said,
No, we can't. You're right,
No.
dead right, we can't. We
That's
can't
fair
afford to do
enough.
it.
We're not asking anyway.
No,
well,
no.
no, but I'm just saying we're observing what has been
Yeah,
laid
yeah, yeah,
down.
yeah.
But I think it's important to keep it for some period, 3 months, 6 months. I mean, we've had instances where things have been said, and it's good to go back. And
Well, I'll move, this is my last, I'll move 3 months and see what response we've got.
I don't mind. You know, stuff has been on there for 6 months now, so.
Yeah. If anyone actually wants to keep them, there's some software so that you can download.
You can
have it on your own
yeah,
computer
that's
for as long
right.
as you want, and always refer back to it. But
Yeah.
I think it should be there for the village for 3 months.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the better thing to do in my
I'm
spare
surprised you
time.
only say 3 months.
Yeah.
Why not? Generally, things are proposed.
Eh?
It's not costing anything, so why not just leave it?
Why?
Is there a space?
There's no requirement for us, there is no legal requirement for us to do it.
No,
That's the first thing.
if it's not costing you anything, it's not affecting anybody, then why delete it? Do we pay for space, David? No? Okay then.
Right, I'll leave it. I'll leave others to fight over that in the future.
I'm easy. I'll keep it there as long as you want.
Does it affect your storage then?
No, I don't think so.
Right, come on, we'll move on, because it's clearly you're going to get anywhere on that one.
What we ought to do though
Is
is
what?
actually rename them, because it's very difficult to see which week's a week. Which, so as it goes on, it'd be good to have a name
Oh,
and a
yeah.
date.
I'll see what I can do. I'll have a play.
So is the decision taken that we are
We'll
just
leave
leaving
Yeah,
it
yeah,
at-
yeah,
as it stands? Okay,
fine.
fine.
We're never going to come to an
That's
agreement. Right, fine.
Yeah, do something.
Decisions to be taken regarding the purchase of a new parish website. Now, I have to say that the report that Wendy's done is first class, and I hope people have read it.
Yes.
I can't find it now. Yeah, I've got black one. Yeah, I've got black ones. Well, there's a number of things. What I was pleased about, that the numbers are still up. There's an average of 3,000 hits a month. Now, I know Joe keeps telling me that's not, here it is, I got it. There's 3,000 hits a month, and that could always be the, whose mobile phone was that? Oh, right. 3,000 hits a month, which is very good. Although it could be the same person doing it 3,000 times. You know, I don't think there's anybody sad enough to do that. But I think people who are moving into the village use it quite a lot. But also, I see the 10 site searches is quite interesting. They're all very local. I noticed corporate responsibilities in parish councils was number 7. I thought that was interesting. So, Joe, do you want to outline what she wants to do in terms of? I mean, she's outlined here how she wants to upgrade it, and I think there's been a consensus even from the previous webmaster that the previous system had served its life, as they say, and needed a bit of whizzing up.
Yeah, well, we would just purchase a new website platform. The content will be built internally, but the platform will be a proper professionally maintained platform with a service contract associated with it, with a nominal fee per year. And what it will enable us to do, I mean, this website is about 10 years old, is my understanding, and it's never ever had any kind of upgrade done to it or any kind of maintenance in all that time. So I mean, it is creaking.
Well, it was fiddled with, but yeah, I know what you mean.
You know, it's never been updated. So what we would have is, you know, obviously the latest website, but we would also be able to connect social media to it, and, you know, have it just looking so much more professional, and also having more capacity to put information on it, and the information that we want and how we want to present it. So that's it, really.
I would ask people to go out and look at other parish council websites in the area. There's still not a patch on what we've got already, but you're right, we still need to improve it.
Would it be interactive where people could ask questions on it and then they would be delivered later on rather than just the reading side as it is?
Well, they can send questions through, because I receive questions directly from the website, but it does give us that capacity or that ability to do that, because there are so many other things that you could go and bolt onto it, and it can just be so much smarter than it is. And the other advantage is it's not so onerous to maintain things, because, you know, if you post something on the website, you've then got to duplicate it on Facebook, you've got to duplicate it on every sort of medium, whereas it can all be connected and be done in one go.
And this is £750, wasn't it?
Well, the quote was 520. I think there will be a small additional spend probably for Wednesday's time, but not much more than that.
What about a swap over period from being able to populate the new one before actually cancelling the old one? Is there any time there?
Well, we would do that. We won't put anything live until it's ready to go, and we won't.
What I mean is, how long do you think that would take?
It depends what we want it to look like and how different we want it to look. If we've got to start everything from scratch, then obviously there's a little bit more time, but we've already started some of the preparation for that as far as we can. So I don't think it's going to take very long. I would hope that we would have things up and running in just a couple of months.
No, I think we've already agreed to do it. What we were doing was seeing if we could get the money out of our county councillor. Go on.
Yeah. You've got a quote here. I thought we had a website designer living in the parish. We've got a quote from him.
We don't need the designer. Wendy can do that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
The money's not,
Yeah.
the money's not high enough to actually go and get 3 quotes. Yeah.
I'm not asking for that.
No.
I say there is a web man who does this sort of thing. He's in the parish, and I always like to pay with payments.
Yeah.
What we're buying is a platform.
I don't understand that.
There might,
Long as you don't leave out your local parishioners.
there might be a way that we could put the YouTube videos on there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
It will be live streaming. You will be able to do that, I'm sure.
So when I phone the county council, I'll have another go at them, Joe, all right? But in the meantime... Sorry? On the website?
Yeah.
Funding, yeah.
And generally, we've had communications to pick up what Barbara was saying. We're putting quite a chunk of money to upgrade, improve the communication through the website. But how do we support the village scene publication?
The village scene is a private enterprise. All right? Okay.
I hope the village scene is safe. It's one of the things I thought was great about this village when I moved here, and it's, I would always support it.
I mean, there's no reason why I don't know what it is, but we'll leave it at that. Let's leave it at that, because I think that's the best way to describe it. I can't think of any other better way to describe the village scene. Right.
Can I just confirm then, are you agreeing unanimously to upgrade the website? And can
I think we've always done that.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Oh, there we go. Right, okay. Decision regarding delegated powers pending election conclusion. Well, the bad news is, I can tell you, is I know when I confirmed with Torres today, that you're still a parish councillor until the 9th of May. Right? And then Joe takes over. Correct? Right.
I don't take over.
No, but you'll take over until the new parish council is sworn in.
The only thing that might need some thought is how we're going to deal with the financials. Now, I've put some forms over on the table for signing later to add the three councillors that are standing for re-election, to add them to the bank account, so that we've got...
You're going to keep your fingers crossed you're going to get elected, are you?
Well, that's the only thing that we can do, really, to try to ensure we've got numbers. Otherwise, we won't be able to make any payments or operate the bank account until we get all the new councillors added on, and that will be after the 9th of May.
Would that be a problem? Because then you ask for 3 people who might get elected.
Well, there's only going to be one signatory who's restanding.
So you reckon one of the 3 will get elected?
No, we will only have one signatory,
signature.
and we need
Trevor is
two,
the only
minimum
one
of
who's
2.
standing who actually signs the check.
Sworn,
So-
isn't it? 1, 2,
The other 2 of us. No, it's only you and I.
It's only you and I that are coming off the signature.
Yes, there's only 3 signatories currently on the account, and that's Barbara, Jim and Trevor. and only Trevor is standing for re-election.
Yeah, then you got new ones.
Yeah, but we won't be able to put them onto the account until after the 9th of
What's
May,
the problem with that?
Well, the
because
bank-
it takes such a long time. There's a long lead-in time.
Does Trevor run off with funds?
So,
I'll run off with the money.
Right, go on, keep going.
well, there aren't any payments that I can foresee. We've paid out for things like defibrillator, consumables, and the battery, and I mean the only thing will be payroll and just anything urgent that comes across. But we might have to defer everything until we get the bank account updated. The only other thing is, at the moment, I can sign cheques.
You can or can't?
Well, I can. I shouldn't. But if the council wanted to give me the power to sign cheques, then potentially I could be a signatory on the account
You
in
could
an
be
emergency.
You could be a second signatory.
I could be.
Makes sense.
But it would only be for that.
You know we do.
And that might be difficult if you're paying yourself, isn't it?
I mean, we could, the one, if the ones are signing to sign it, it seems a bit of paperwork, whatever you want.
Right, okay.
Mr. Chair, what are you doing?
Well, I'm asking Jo, she was going to talk about, is that it, Jo?
Well, that's it. I mean, if the council is prepared to, to give that, sanction that power, then I could do that.
But you need to sign with another member.
Yeah.
Trevor, yeah.
As long as he's elected, yeah. If he's
That's
elected.
all right. Okay. No. You're not going to run off the other way. No, sorry. Okay, fine.
Well, I suppose you could just add that in the minutes, that I'm until the new council
Is elected.
is elected.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
we've got cover until the council's elected. We're fine until the 9th of May.
Yeah, sort
It's
of
only
thing.
what
9th of
happens
May to
after
the-
the 9th of May.
When you're having the meeting, 24th, 25th?
Well, everybody's going to get together on the 10th, so we can sort the bank account out up on the 10th.
Say that again.
The council is going to get together on the 10th of May, isn't it, for a meet and greet?
Yes.
So
You can't swear anybody in then.
No, you won't need to, but I can do the paperwork for the bank account.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean, because it'll take weeks at Barclays. Well, it takes weeks with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, I see where you're coming from there. Right. The other thing I was going to mention in this is that last September we did, we actually got round to actually signing our standing orders. And it seems that these standing orders are out of date. So one of the things that the new parish council is going to have to do, I'm afraid, folks, is rewrite that. Soon. One task you can put on your agenda. So that will need to be done. The new parish council will have to do that. Right. Fine. Right. Coronation of King Charles III.
Well, just to say the date has been agreed. It's going to be on Sunday, the 7th of May. And one of the items that we were looking at is a full collaboration by lots of groups in the village, in the parish, I should say. But the mugs are going to be presented on that afternoon. So if anybody would like to be involved from the parish council, then can you please let me know?
Have you got any idea what you're going to do yet?
Yeah.
Can you tell us then?
It's going to be, well, there'll be tea and cakes, a barbecue, bar, and the school is involved. They are going to be doing some activities as well. And as I say, the mugs will be presented there as well.
And there's going to be some singing as well.
There's going to be
The choir, yeah, the choir is going to be performing. Yeah, so I mean there'll be lots of details out on Village Scene and what have you to make sure that everybody's aware of what's going on. But the parish council side of things was about the mugs, really. So let me know after the outside of the meeting if you will be able to attend and if you would like to be involved in the presentation.
Okay. Oh, right, yeah. No, presenting the notes, yeah. Okay. That's it, is it? Right, we're on to planning now. So all we've got is decisions to report. Decision outstanding. We've not had any feedback from the council regarding lower readings, have we?
There's nothing at all. The only decision that's been made is the top one.
Yeah.
Everything else is still outstanding. I've had no other confirmations at all.
Okay, fine. Right, accounts.
The balances, total balances in the bank accounts at the end of March was £64,682.40.
64,000 what?
£64,682.40. And that's split across the usual three accounts. The fund balances, so that's what we believe is in our bank account, because there are some cheques outstanding, about £3,500 worth. So we've got £60,527.55 according to our own records. Payments then, it's nothing too different. Payroll is much larger this month because there is an element of back pay in there. All the admin rates have all changed with effect from the 1st of April, so everything has to be backdated until the 1st of April. So that's myself.
1st of April 22.
1st September for Wendy and I,
Yeah.
1st of April for Pat.
2022.
22, yeah. So there's...
Because I discovered we weren't paying you now.
So usual electricity bill from British Gas, that's for the landing lights. Water charges, the online subscription and dog subscriptions. The battery cost us 210, the mugs 574. I've ordered another a defibrillator battery because the one is low in the one by the phone box. So that's pretty costly, £370.
Can I just stop you there, Jo?
Yeah.
If that battery does the trick,
Yeah.
I think it might, then we'll have to order another one.
No, that is for two.
Eh?
That is for two.
Yeah, that's for two.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
bought two, did you?
Yeah. Yeah. I have said if it doesn't work, they're having them back. And the shop sign that Barbara mentioned. And then the only receipts we've had this month are for field rents, but also with the electricity, we've had the automatic government credit on the electricity bill. So our electricity account is way in credit, but I'm not sure that the parish council is actually entitled to that, because my understanding was it was for domestic.
Just sit on it.
Fine. And that's it then.
Right, okay. Right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to into a part 2 meeting now. I'd just like to thank Barbara, Fritz, who are departing, not standing again, and I'm not standing again. Hey?
I'm Rosie.
And Rosie, yeah, I was going to mention Rosie, it's all right. You're not standing again, for sure, well.
That's right, we won't worry over the meeting outside.